I think that they shouldn't close schools because some people don't have places to go, and you can't just get up and move at any time.
You have a bunch of different kids going to different places where it might not be a good fit for them to learn.
When you closing down neighborhood schools, it's like not fair because where they gonna go?
Some kids on school closures, some kids wouldn't even care. Some kids will just be like, forget it, I'm not going to school no more, and that might hurt their life.
This school has the best performing grades of any school in the Park Heights area. Well, the school means everything to this community. You know, during the rides that they had downtown Baltimore the other day, the kids rode horses out here, and we had horseback riding up here for the kids to get their minds off that kind of stuff.
They teach them Korean, they teach them Spanish, they teach them all these other things which will help form and shape a child's global and world view.
None of those school board commissioners who voted to close the school had never been here. When they first took the initial vote, they didn't know how to get here. They had never been to the school.
I feel like it's another way of saying that the school board is giving up on certain schools.
It's basically them saying that we failed and we admit it.
I do just want to say that the people that are the most affected by a resource should be the people making the decisions about those resources.
I'm here to support Langston Hughes. I was here as a mentor, so I'm very familiar with the school and very much hoping that it will stay.
Ms. Pulley is probably one of the best principals in the state of Maryland. We have Teacher Appreciation Day, we have Parent Appreciation Day, we have cleanups, we have picnics, we have just about everything a community needs to have to support a school.
Like, I grew up in West Baltimore, and I taught in the school where I grew up. So you knew the neighborhood, you knew the kids well enough to say, your mother wouldn't like that. Get across a great big street here. I think, why are we closing this school? We know that they need this school. We've seen that kids didn't have access to recreation center. This is a great facility. Children after school, it's a place where they can relax and watch the kids in the safety of this neighborhood. And I think for us to send them all the way across to Pimlico is just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Whatever we do, not only to keep this school, but any community school open in Baltimore City for our children. We just saw what the lack of resources caused in Baltimore.
And when I met him, you know, he was just real enthused and real excited, and he had a lot of energy, and I just wanted to support him. And then he said something to me that kind of struck me, which was that he believes that they picked this school and these communities because they think this is a path of least resistance. Essentially, that no one cares. But, you know, from my experiences in the community over the last couple weeks and months, that's the exact opposite of what I see. I see a lot of resistance, you know. Every time we call that phone number, every time we walk from here to Pimlico, every time we have a community cookout, every time we have one of these meetings, all of that is resistance. So if they thought that this was the path of least resistance, then they chose the wrong road.
In 2012 was the only year where actually enrollment went down. And what happened, Michael Sarbanes came through the neighborhood, told the people the school was closing down, and of course parents, being proactive parents as they are, began to take their kids out of school. And when they took the kids out of school, they came back 6 months later and used that as a criteria to say we're closing down the school. When we found out that Alonzo extended it to 2017, of course parents brought their kids back into the school. That's the only year that we had low attendance. In fact, the attendance has been going up ever since then. I think we're up to about 185, 190 students now. There's something going on here. It's a ready-made building. It's air conditioned. It's you go in that school, it's clean as a whistle in there. Everybody comes in that school is very impressed at the condition of the school. They just put a new roof on the school last year. They just put a new boiler system in the school. So how do you do that and then say, okay, we're gonna close it? What's the purpose of it? They gotta walk all the way to Pimlico, which is about a mile away. They gotta go across a main street, Park Heights Avenue. They gotta go through drug-infested neighborhoods. They gotta go through demolished homes in that area over there. And some of these kids are 4 years old. That their parents walk them to the corner and send them to the school. 5100 block, 5200 block of Park Heights sell more drugs than anywhere in Baltimore City. Why you want to send kids into that type of atmosphere? They never ever really said to us, what can we do to help? They always threw daggers and always threw knives at us to try to find any excuse they can to close down the school. And then I asked myself, what's the reason why? Why? Well, I got 5 different calls from 5 different charter schools saying, can you help us become a charter?
So I started looking at who are the small schools in the city of Baltimore. And what I found was that of the 10 smallest schools in the city, excluding schools that focus on students with disabilities, 5 of them are charter schools. Of the remaining 5, 4 have been recommended for closure. So to be a small school in Baltimore, it seems to me you need to be a charter school.
Shouldn't even be talking about this. It should just be something that we find the funds for and we fix it. It should never be just, I give up, it's a failure. Because you can't fail people that need to be the future of our country.
Langston Hughes, that's the best school and best cook for the summer. Don't Langston Hughes.
And they had their eyes. Cause the city